Hello, my British germs. Welcome back to... I'll stop with this stupid accent. Welcome back to Projekt Agnetha. What's this? Is it a steampunk walking cane? No, it's a bit short for that. It's actually an Austin Allegro drive shaft with the inner CV joint removed. That was quite easy with one of these pullers. These are pretty generic. You can get them from all sorts of places. This was 40 zlotys, so about 10 of your British pounds. Worth every cent. Grosze, pence, something. Definitely worth having. But it doesn't really work for the inner CV joint. So the outer CV joint, just a few turns, off it comes. But this one is really stuck. So in the Haynes Book of Lies, it says if you kind of have weird tools like a drift and a copper hammer, you can do 2 taps and say piff puff puff and off it comes. Probably that's true in the 80s when this would have been on here for a few years, but once it's been on for half a century, it's a little bit tougher. So I've tried everything. I've tried heat, I've tried hacking the puller there, which got a bit hairy, but then I found a method that actually works. So when they're actually absolutely stuck fast, but you still want to keep the shaft, I don't know how easy it is to get a spare Allegro drive shaft, and I don't really want to find out because this is perfectly good, it's just a bit dirty and it's got this thing stuck on it. So here we go. What you will need for this week's hobby: a small sharp chisel, a big blunt chisel, I've just filed it off a bit so it's not so sharp, a big hammer, and you won't actually need a puller so we can put that away, and a big vise or a workbench, something with wood in the jaws so it doesn't damage your drive shaft when we're smashing it to pieces with a hammer. And most importantly of all, some kind of generic grinder with a new grinding disc. I found out you can actually put new discs on these, you don't have to use it until there's nothing left. First thing to do is drop it in the workbench and clamp it using both hands, obviously, so we don't drop anything. They always have this kind of plastic end there, so you just want to smash that off with a chisel or screwdriver, the right tools for the right job. And then what we're going to do is have a look here. You can see this is the drive shaft. You do not want to touch the grinder on the drive shaft, so we have to be really careful and quite slow with it. So these inner rings, I think they're called, they're really hard, but we can use that to our advantage because usually if something's hard it's also quite brittle. So what we're going to do is cut along the bottom of the ring there, quite deep but not touching the shaft, remember, and then we're going to slice along the ring between each of these sticky outy bits, and then basically smash the pieces off segment by segment with the big hammer and the chisel, and then we should have a nice clean drive shaft ready for a fresh CV joint. And it goes without saying that you need the appropriate PPE, so ear protection, eye protection, hand protection, because this thing actually gets really hot as well, and feet protection against those troublesome sparks. Always get down in between your boots anyway and burn your feet, but never mind. Alright, let's get going. realised this is in the wrong place. I need to have it actually sticking out, don't I? So I can get the grinder around it. Alright, so there's now a really nice notch in there. It doesn't go all the way through because that'll knacker the drive shaft, but it just goes in further enough that this should be a really weak point, so it should crack in the way that we want it to. And each segment, once we've cut it along here, should just kind of peel off with a good bit of assistance from a big hammer. And now we go across the way, taking care not to touch the drive shaft. I've been working the grinder along here but stopping short of the shaft and basically getting progressively deeper and deeper here, because if you look how this is made, there's quite a big gap at the end between the what is this thing called, the thingy that we want to get rid of, and the actual shaft, so you've got a bit more room for error. So right at the end it's really thin, like almost foil thin. And then, for safety's sake, it just gets a bit deeper. Well, the cut gets shallower as we go towards the end. So we basically need to just rinse and repeat for each one of these other thingies. So I'm hardly putting any pressure on this either. I'm just very, very gently kind of almost polishing it. Using these things is exhausting. I mean, you're not doing anything, you're just standing there waving a thing around, but my back hurts, I'm sweating buckets. Right, so we've got all these channels cut now, and see how thin it is at this end. But I think I do need to just extend these a little bit so that they meet up more with our notch that we've made there. It's like the more work we do with the grinder, the less hammering and chiseling we have to do. It's a balance between not going too far with the grinder and knackering your drive shaft, and then not going far enough and smacking your drive shaft with a hammer and breaking it that way. Not sure if I made this clear at the beginning of the video, but this is a destructive technique, and what the CV joint will look like afterwards is it's going to look something like that. So you might want to order a replacement. Okay, that's very hot, so I'm going to use a glove. So just jam it in there, and then again bits of sharp metal are going to go everywhere, so goggles please. So we take the sharp chisel and then we just give nature a helping hand by whacking it right down there like that, just to get the crack initiated, and taking care not to hit the splines, but on these drive shafts there's just enough space if you're careful. There we go. Same again. Bye. Last one. Okay. Now I'm just going to whack these off with the blunt chisel that just tried to take a holiday. And if any of these just won't come off, then we go back to it with the grinder. Let's see. Put your foot on this because it's going to recoil a bit. We need to grind it a bit more. Right, let's try that again. And if this doesn't work, more grinding. But I might have to make a curry before then. Nah, needs more grinding. I'm going to make a curry, then we'll carry on. Not sure how well this will come through on the GoPro, but along here now is really thin. I still had it quite chunky last couple of times I tried this. But you have to set up the light right so you can actually see, and you have to grip it properly so the thing isn't moving around. So I think what I'll do is just chisel it along here just to test how thick it is, and then we'll try and smack it again. You can see how thick this thing is. I mean, they really made these things. I wonder if modern CV joints are this well made. Okay, here goes nothing. Again. Ow, that was my hand. And again. Yeah, really stubborn. More grinding required. Slow and steady wins the race. So I already thought it was quite thin here. Oh, that's hot. But then I decided to take it a bit closer in around the circumference, and you can actually start to see where you're hitting the surface, because you start to just get lots of holes, because there's actually, I don't know, like 0.5 millimeter gap between the drive shaft and this bit. So you start to see all these holes, and that's nature's way of saying stop. But you can also then see how much thickness you've got. But again, you know, you cut most of the material away and these things are still pretty hard. It's quite amazing. So I think we just grind a bit more along here, which is easier to do now. I can see how much thickness I've got on that side. And then try, once again, to smack it off with the hammer. this time. Trying to wiggle these things loose a bit, but again without trashing the drive shaft. What is holding this thing on? Nothing by the looks of it. Will you cooperate now? Probably not. So we'll give you a bit more convincing, shall we? Oh, okay. Damn, I wasn't filming it. Huh. Look at that. I think that wasn't recorded. But look, it came off and it smells delightful. It smells like a 1980s furniture store. Alright. Let's get the others off then. That means you also didn't see me smack my hand again. Right, next one. Yay! Cooking. And this one, you're just going to come off easily, or you're still going to hang on? Of course you're still going to hang on. But it's over. Yeah, it's all over. And as for this bit, will that just come off, or will it be another complete ball ache? Oh no, I think we can just persuade that. Oh man, if I never do this again, I'll be happy. What a pain. Still, it's better than paying a professional person to deal with it, isn't it? Oh, off it comes. Oh. And there we go. Mucky old drive shaft. But let's get the brush on it. Make sure we didn't kill it. Why does it smell like an 80s furniture store? Is that what they were making furniture out of in those days? Busted CD joints. Yeah, perfect. So there we are. Oh, my back. It's done. So there's one CV shaft completely deconstructed, and there's the other CV shaft deconstructed. Just needs a good old clean and some new CV joints. I need to lie down, but will I get back up again? Doesn't matter, I'll get someone to pick me up if I can't. Look at that though, look at the state of these things. I mean, it's amazing just how hard some of these materials are. Yeah, it's MFI. It smells of MFI. Does MFI still exist? Let me know in the comments, because I can't be bothered to Google it. That's all for this one. See you in the next one. I'm not sure what I'll be doing, because I've probably putting these back in, I suppose. We'll see. There's also some stuff about the fuel tank which might be interesting, but it's I've got to do some fiberglassing and outside, and it's a bit too cold at the moment to do fiberglassing. We'll see. Thank you for watching. Thank you to the 75 subscribers I've got. That's 72 more than I expected, so thanks for that. Nice surprise. I'm gonna lie down. Bye.